welcome back. Money Market Moves here with Damian. We're back again for another week here, starting in March 2nd. And Damian joins us from Fiji, apparently. I'm just kidding.
Yes. See
What's
this
up, Damian?
the waves behind me are awesome today. Awesomely small.
Exactly. The boogie board, and you can't really surf those waves. But
Yeah.
but how you doing? What's up? What's the latest here? I know you are in San Diego these days, so what's the latest there? How you doing?
The latest is
Burrito,
pretty good. San Diego's a nice place. As far as America's concerned, I think next to South Florida, it's probably the best place to live as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's a beautiful part of the world. No wonder it's so expensive, but it is so expensive. It's crazy. I mean, last few years, what's happened? A burrito is $20 after tax and tip. You cannot get a good burrito, everything inclusive, under 18, $19, which is something crazy for me. I'm in my 40s, and I remember when I was, growing up, it was 3, $4 for a burrito. So it's
yeah.
gone up 5x, 5, 6x in
Whew.
our lifetime.
Yeah.
So
And that's why you got to invest, ladies and gentlemen, because your pay is not going up 5 times. I
on
can
that
tell you.
topic,
Yeah.
I hope that nobody invested in Bitcoin at 108,000 because they've
Ooh,
already lost 25%. That's got to
yeah.
be painful for people because it's like, when they invest in crypto, it's not like a stock where they might have better earnings next month. It's just all speculation. So, in theory, we may never see 100,000 again. You know, it's possible.
Right.
With the stock, it'll test it a couple of times or future, it'll test levels. But with the crypto, I don't know. I think it's probably going to go back up and higher, but it's also possible it just goes down to 50 and starts dying. I mean, it seems like a lot of what Trump said he's trying to do, or showing like he's trying to do all these things, but he's not really making any big changes in anything so far in the world. Like, really, I mean, he's got an investment coming in. He's got, all these dramatic shots of, you know, refugees getting kicked out on these giant military planes, but a lot of it just seems to be show so far. Oh, I'm going to do something huge for crypto, but none of it's really happened. And I think that if the crypto market does go down, actually, it will affect the stock market for sure, So it's something to
Do
watch.
you? Yeah. I mean, my problem, and I'm not by any means an expert in any of this, but I've always seen the crypto as, like you said, purely speculative speculation. It's almost like, to me, the real asset is the technology, not the coin itself.
Yes.
And so I feel like people seem to be moving money, like they move their physical money into gold or precious metals, and some are moving into crypto to kind of hedge against inflation. And it seems to me that crypto would be a very bad bet because, like you just said, at least with stocks, you have some kind of tangible asset of ownership in a company. Whereas in crypto, I just own a line of code that, you know, may or may not be replaced by another line of code. Would that be an accurate kind of layman read on that? Like, I mean, does that make any sense? Or am I way off?
I don't think there's anything to tell you that you'd be way off or you'd be making sense. It's all just what do you make of it at this point, isn't it? I think that people just need to be conservative in the amount they invest into crypto, but I certainly won't touch it just because I just still don't see a use for it outside of like illegal, you know, you know, illegal business. I mean, uh, criminals, I should say, instead of saying illegal business people, criminals, sending money to each other from, let's say I'm importing something into a certain country from you, and I don't want the authorities to know about it. I could say, John, check your crypto account. There's 1 million, and you will get the second million tomorrow. And for that use, I don't think you're going to stop it. So people are going to use it for that. But I don't know why you'd have to do it legally. Of course, if there are sanctions against like Russia, like there have been, and people need to get money out of Russia and these things, I think crypto was really helped by the sanctions, you know, because it found, people found a way to kind of go past the banking sanctions to get money in all the places they went to. But overall, like, is it worth more than gold and all this stuff? No, I don't think so. So, imagine
That's what's
imagine if you're even like, laundering money like Ukraine is accused of doing. Like how are they laundering money? It's of course it's through crypto. It just provides an environment for people to be able to send money to each other without having to be public, right? Because the banking system is the most public thing in the world. Any bank will give up your information with government pressure.
so does that have a direct effect, do you think, maybe on the value of crypto? Or am I pushing you to talk
No,
about
why
something you
why wouldn't it? It's like, Russians cannot get cash out in most countries or in the West. They can't. So and they're everywhere. They're in Thailand, they're in Turkey, they're in Dubai. They basically, I have access to their crypto. And there's places I'm sure, I'm not all that familiar with illegal transactions of crypto, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that somebody that's from Russia can transfer crypto to somebody from another country in Dubai, and the guy in Dubai can happily take the money, the crypto, and give him cash, right? Like that's just the easiest thing in the world. Americans don't really can imagine the idea of like not being able to use their credit card somewhere, but think of Cuba for us. Like if you go to Cuba, we can't use our credit cards because we have sanctions against them and they have sanctions against us. So when a lot of people go to Cuba, they just bring cash. It's kind of the same thing with Russians. They bring cash, but at some point, they just wire the crypto into another account. So we'll see. I think with the market next couple of weeks or even a month, Trump was supposed to announce all these things and be pro crypto, and he said all the right words so far. But what has he really done? I don't think he's done anything that I'm aware of, and somebody could correct me in the comments. But if it's coming, great. I think El Salvador was actually doing more for crypto and AI than most countries. This guy is awesome. I mean, he's El Salvador was like the one place where I would have traveled to in South America. Now it's like the safest, a bunch of volcanoes, good for investment. Good job. What's his name? Nukulele. I'm mispronouncing it.
yeah, I
It
forget
sounds
his
like
name.
that Hawaiian guitar, a little bit ukulele or something, but like
Yeah.
I think it sounds like an Arab name. I think he's a Middle Eastern background. Doesn't sound too Spanish, but
Yeah.
whatever he's from, he's done a fantastic job. Good job.
Nayaib Bukele, Bukele. Yeah, that's the current. Yeah,
There's so much
he's
demand from people that want to buy real estate there that they don't have enough properties, like enough places to buy. Like he's trying to make it like honestly, I think it's a good place to buy. If this guy was gonna be president the next 40 years, I would probably buy there too. Because they're gonna make this like little like Central American haven that's got zero crime, got nice nature, and a good place to invest. Like what's wrong with that? Why can't El Salvador be the example for other countries in most places? They can.
um that's interesting because you could talk. I mean, so one of the things you kind of brought up, and I'm curious about this, is you've done a lot of international investment, etc. When the US, my brother, shout out Joey Ricard, by the way, he talked about this a little bit. Like when you do business internationally, being an American, your money, the US government really has a direct line of sight on your money. So even if you are investing in like foreign infrastructure, whatever, the United States government is still able to kind of see your money and where it's going. Is that a potential, I guess, way in which crypto is being utilized is the kind of move away from some of that.
I think if you're American, you're always going to be tracked. Doesn't matter. I think that you can have money in your crypto, and the American government may or may not know that. But if you're going to buy, investment property under John Ricard in El Salvador, and you have to use your real identification, you're not going to, invest as an alias or fake name, which you probably don't want to do. Then they're going to know about it and they can track it. So
All right, what do you think about Trump's gold card citizenship offer then? It's almost like
it's great.
kind of the opposite of what you're saying in a sense that like if you're not an American, it's good to do business here, but not to be a citizen and be legally bound to maybe our economic system because you have more economic freedom working outside of it.
Yeah, but I mean that's geared towards like, the $5 million gold card. That's geared more towards
Right.
people that really want to leave their country. So like English or French or even Brazilians or Argentinians, that can travel to most countries in the world. It's not for them. In that sense, they can kind of start over in the US, and 5 million a person, that's great. I mean, imagine if 1,000 people come, right? That's just nothing. You know, it's $5 billion and money's coming into the US. Imagine if a million people come. So we're about 300 million, you know, I think our population is about 300 million last time I checked. So if a million come, 1/300th, it's like 0.3%. Guess how much money that is?
Yeah.
$5 trillion. That's crazy. So it's a million times 5 million, right? So that's 5 trillion towards a deficit actually is a pretty good cut into the deficit, you know. It's
Because I think you're right. We're at 340 million right now in the U.S. population, and I think what is
is
our
it that
debt?
high? Wow.
Yeah, 340. Yeah,
Wow. You're not that special,
documented.
John. You're
Exactly. No,
not
I'm
that
one of
special,
300.
John. See, I'm
Exactly,
an
one of three.
immigrant. I don't care, but you're not that
uh,
special anymore.
Exactly. Just one of 340 million. Yeah, but that's an interesting idea. I mean, I didn't really look at it. Yeah, I guess it's a way to, like you said, to pay down debt. So you raise $5 trillion through this kind of gold card
I mean, let's
citizenship
say let's
thing.
say 6 million, like 5 million people come. Great. That's 25 trillion right there. You kidding me? That's the deficit's
Yeah.
gone. And then the people that coming in are people that they have to invest in the country. So it's not going to hurt GDP, is it?
All right. Yeah. So I guess on that note, what are your recommendations at this point, or to kind of help people in terms of the investment space? You're
Well,
saying
I think last
be conservative.
yeah, I mean, I think last show, or I don't know what to call these discussions, we said that the market might go down a little bit, you know, and it has actually. This last week, it was going down. It trended down the whole time. Even Nvidia's good earnings couldn't help to boost up. So we were actually kind of right about that. Hate to blow my own horn, but on Friday, last hour or so, I don't know if people saw, but there was like a huge spike in the futures. The market like blew up for a second. So I don't know why that happened. I don't know if there's resistance at this level and people are just like, okay, we've heard some bad news from Trump. Now we're going to start buying. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this week. But I would be hesitant to buy here because all the stuff that Trump's doing, Ukraine and Gaza, they're not all going to go smoothly. You know,
By the way, what do you recommend if you are not putting your money in the market? How do you park it? What are some, I guess, basic tips to park it safely outside the market? Crypto, I would say you're like, no, that's not probably a good spot. But what other ideas do you think people should be considering?
um, I think that's it's a difficult time because everything around the world has gone up since COVID. Like since COVID, right? 4 or 5 years. Has there been anything in the world that's gone down? Like
Yeah.
anything? Like
No.
property in El Salvador? No. Property in France?
Yeah.
Probably not. So maybe what I would do is honestly nothing. You know, sometimes the best move you can make is nothing for yourself. It's kind of like, boring, but I mean, one thing you could do is maybe invest money in Turkish banks because they give you about 10%. And it's like guaranteed
Hey.
full faith and credit of our president, which I don't know how
Yeah.
dependable he is. But you can find,
Erdogan, he's been
higher
there for a
interest
while.
rates and bank accounts of countries that, are probably not going to dissolve anytime soon and just park your money and get 10 to 15%. You don't have to do Turkey. I'm sure you could find ones in Dubai or Eastern Europe or even South America that will give you higher rates on bonds and so on, and diversify. But if you really want to make 15, 20%, you could invest in the debt of poorer countries and make sure they don't dissolve. That would be the way to do it. Distressed assets. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. By
All
distressed, I
right.
mean
This.
a country stuck between the Middle East and Eastern Europe that nobody likes. It's always going to be distressed.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Damian. I think that wraps it up
Bula
for this week.
bula. Goodbye from Fiji.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say goodbye from Fiji, and we'll see you guys next week. So good luck this week. All right, Damien. Thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon. All right.